So now study extent of mass participation. The participation was on many levels. So so here youth, especially for the students of the schools and colleges, remained at the forefront. I mean, especially if school and colleges girls actively participated and included Aruna Sabadi, Sujata Kripalani, and Usam Mehta. Okay, so workers went on strikes and faced repression. Repression peasants and of all strata were at the heart of the movement. When some Jomindars participated, these peasants concentrated their offensive on symbols of authority, and there is complete absence on anti-Jamindar violence. Government officials, okay, especially those belongs to the lower levels in police and administrations, participated, resulting in erosion of government loyalty. So Muslim helped by giving shelters to underground. So activists, there were no communal classes during the movement. The communists did not join. Okay, did not join the movement in the wake of Russia, where the communists were in power, being attacked by Nazi Germany. The communists began to support the British. The communists began to support the British war against Germany, and the imperialist war became the People's War. The Muslim League opposed the movement, fearing that if the British left India at that time, the minorities would be oppressed by the Hindus. The Hindu Mahasabha boycotted the movement. The princely states showed a low-key response, government repression. Okay, so although marital law was not applied, the repression was severe, agitating crowds were lathi charge, tear gas and fired upon. The number of those killed is estimated at 10,000. The press was muzzled. The military took over many crises, many cities. Police and secret service reignite regent. Okay, supreme rebellions. Villages were first fined heavily, and in many villages mass flogging was done. Estimate left without leaders. There was no restraint, and violence become common. The main storm centers of the movement were in eastern United Province, Bihar, Midnapur, Maharashtra, Karnataka. Students, workers, and peasants were the backbone of the movement, while the upper classes and the bureaucracy remained largely loyal. Okay, loyalty to government suffered considerable erosion. This also showed how deep nationalism had raised the movement, established the truth that it was no longer possible the rule India without the wishes of Indians. The element of spontaneity was higher than before. So although the certain degree of popular initiative had been sanctioned by the leadership itself, okay, subject to limitations of instruction, also the Congress had been ideologically, politically, and organizationally preparing for the struggle for a long time. The great significance was that the movement placed demand for independence and the immediate agenda of the national movement. After quit India, there could be no resent in the struggle. The common people they displayed unparalleled heroism and militancy. The repression they faced was the most brutal, and the circumstances under which resistance was offered were most adverse. Gandhi Fast in February 1943, Gandhi started a fast as an answer to an exhortation by the government to condemn violence. The fast was directed against the violence of the state. The popular response to the news of the fast was immediate and overwhelming. While protests were organized at home and abroad, though But through hartals, demonstrations, and strikes, three members of the Viceroy Executive Council resigned. Resigned. Okay, the first achieved the following: public moral and raised anti-British feelings was heightened. An opportunity was provided for political activity. Government's handedness, okay, was exposed. Okay, and Gandhi got the better of his opponents and refused to oblige by dying. On March 23, 1943, Pakistan Day was observed. Okay, so now here you can see famine of 1943. The hero and inconvenience of were increased by the famine of 1943. The most affected areas were Southwest Bengal. Okay, Southwest Bengal comprising the Tamiluk Kantai, Diamond Harbour, Dhaka, okay, Dhaka, Faridpur, Tipera, and Noakhali. Around 1.5 to 3 million people. Okay, so 3 million people. People perished in this basically man-made famine. The epidemics, malaria, cholera, smallpox, malnutrition, and starvation. The fundamental causes of this famines were as follows. So here, okay, the need for to feed a vast army diverted foodstuffs. Okay, rice imports from Burma and Southeast Asia had been stopped. The famine got aggravated by gross mismanagement and deliberate profiteering, rationing methods, and belated and were confined to big cities. Raja Gopal Chari formula. The meanwhile efforts were to solve the ongoing constitutional crisis, and some individual if also tried to come up with constitutional proposals. From Raja Gopal Chari, the veteran Congress leader, prepared a formula for Congress League cooperation in the Pakistan. Gandhi supported the formula. The main points of the CR plan were Muslim leagues to endorse Congress demand for independence, League to cooperate with Congress in forming a provincial government at centers. After the end of the war, the entire population of the Muslim majority also in the northwest. After the end of the war, the entire population of the Muslim majority rural areas are northwest and northeast of India to decide by a plebiscite whether or not to form a separate sovereign state. In case of acceptance of partisan agreement to be made jointly for safeguarding defense, commerce, communications. They have terms to be operative only if England transferred full powers to India. Objections wanted the Congress wanted the Congress to accept the two nation theory. He wanted only the Muslims of northeast and northeast to vote in the plebiscite and not to the entire population. He also opposed the idea of common center. Okay, and while the Congress was ready to cooperate with the League for the independence, okay, of Indian Union, the League did not care for independence of the Union. It was only arrested a separate nation. Hindu leaders led by Sri Veer Savarkar condemned the CR plan. So next we discuss other part topic, other